Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of the most beneficent, most merciful, I begin by wishing you all in the Islamic way. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Let the peace, mercy, and the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be with all of you. I have today elected to speak in English, as the subject matter of my discourse today is peace, which concerns the entire mankind, embracing all languages and culture in every part of the world, and not any particular segment of human race. As my distinguished and respected listeners may recollect, I had shared my thoughts on peace a few days back in writing, under the caption, I too have a dream, a peaceful world with a peace-loving mankind. I'm delighted to inform you that the reactions that I have received from the multitude of readers are not only exceedingly fascinating, but also deeply illuminating. I have therefore decided today to convey my deepest gratitude to all of you for taking the time and going through my humdrum writings and thoughts, and also take this opportunity to speak a few words to reiterate my conviction, my strong conviction, that peace is not only desirable and indispensable, but is also undeniably attainable. While the bulk of the readers of my write up have turned my call for peace as the need of the hour, a few have, however, chosen to phrase my dream as a wishful thinking or at best an utopian idea. Of course, all of them have accepted the indispensability of peace in preventing the annihilation of the human race. Dear readers, as enumerated in my writing, our success in building peace depends on our strong desire and ability to root out the causes of conflict and hostilities. While I have already listed the prime causes of conflict in my writing, it is not too difficult for any conscious citizen, an individual, to conceive the main factors that are standing in the way of peace. Human beings have no dearth of abilities. Our Creator has blessed us with infinite potentialities to achieve all our noble objectives. The advancement, as you know, made in science and technology, in healthcare, medical field, education, life expectancy, per capita income, social services, conquest of space, and of course, building of the military arsenal is phenomenal. You will agree that all these achievements that have been made today would have been termed as dream and utopian idea only a few decades back. Their realities today. And that is why I'm not ready to accept the fact the achievement of peace is an impossibility. It can definitely be achieved if tried in earnest and with the concerted efforts of all nations across the globe. To me, human souls are peace loving. Love and peace manifest themselves in the creation of mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created people, human beings, not to be engaged in conflict, but to live in peace, spreading fraternity and brotherhood. Why? And how can we, in that case, accept hostilities and conflicts as fait accompli. Why is there a need for engaging ourselves in fratricidal killings, violence, and aggression? One of the greatest philosophers, thinker, and a spiritual leader named Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, when asked to define poison, remarked, anything that we say or do in excess of our actual need is poison. We know poison is toxic. It creates malfunction and destabilizes the human soul and body. We all have our needs and desires for decent living, food, accommodation, healthcare, medical, education, etc. There exist inexhaustible bounties in this earth to satisfy the needs of all creatures. It is, however, true that no individual, no community, and no nation is self sufficient. We all need each other's help. We are interdependent. That perhaps is the part of the master plan of our Creator. There is therefore a need for partnership, reciprocality, collaboration, which would open up the pathway to peace and brotherhood. By resorting to application of force and securing wealth and power, we would only flout the laws of the nature and the divine rules of our Creator. It doesn't have to be that way. Ironically, while as individuals we all desire and also have the love for peace, there is no sight of any sincere, honest peace initiatives embracing the whole planet. Our isolated gestures and move for peace are based more on individual group and specific countries' interest rather than based on universal inclusiveness. For peace to be lasting and meaningful, its pursuit must be dispassionate and indiscriminatory. Given the human greed and wealth and lust for power, it is an uphill task, but not an impossibility. There is a need for launching massive movements for peace at every tier of the human society. People of all ages, classes, culture, languages, religions need to be continuously and relentlessly educated and motivated on the scars and the afflictions that conflicts can cause, bringing colossal damage to life and property. And at the same time, be reminded of the dividends that we can derive by maintaining peace at no loss to man and material. Think of the mammoth nuclear arsenal that has been piled up by only a few nations. Only a fraction of this huge arsenal, the nuclear power, can wipe out living creatures and all the bounties of nature few hundred times. What would happen then if a nuclear war is triggered, either accidentally or willfully, by some megalomaniac monster like Hitler? Let us think of the destruction that has been caused by the needless bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan, which was otherwise ready to surrender. Let us also remind of the devastation that has been caused due to the nuclear accident, a nuclear plant in Chernobyl in Russia and Fukushima in Japan. The tragedies that have taken place in these areas, its deadly effects have killed hundreds and thousands of people, and its effects are likely to continue for indefinite period in the future. I am positive that the nuclear powers would never contemplate using these fattening weapons, realizing the scale of devastation that is going to cause engulfing the whole planet. If that be the case, why even keep it in store, risking the accidental use or even accidental uh, fatalities? Dear readers, over the years, we have been witnessing a host of awards, applauses, and accolades being conferred on individuals and institutions in recognition for their contribution towards peace. The Nobel Prize for Peace Committee, the World Peace Council, and the United Nations are only a few to be named. But is it needless to say that recognitions for peace efforts are more often than not marred with political, economic, and strategic interests of few individual countries. It is time, therefore, we took a stock of these deceitful and hypocritical peace initiatives. Genuine peace efforts, if organized, initiated, and recognized, would have definitely turned this planet into much greater peace abode than it is today. Under the professed peace initiatives, we all know that European colonial powers ruled their colonies for centuries, executing genocide, draining out all the natural resources of the native countries. We see today the Middle East is burning for more than 50 years, with the Palestinians being killed in hundreds and thousands and also uprooted from their homelands. We see hundreds and thousands of innocent children, men and women, being killed in Yemen, in Lebanon, Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, Somalia, with no reasons known to them. Thousands have perished in the conflict in Kosovo and Bosnia. Dozens of countries in Africa and Latin America remain perpetually engaged in fratricidal killings. Dictatorial regimes in Egypt, Myanmar, Middle East, and many Asian countries continue to have the perennial rule over their native countries, plundering the wealth of their own countries and also snatching away the basic human rights of the fellow citizens. Where are the cryings for peace? The above savageries were and are all man made and not the work of nature. The bulk of the barbarism narrated above were executed and still being carried out by the wealthy, educated, and supposedly civilized Western countries with impunity under the nose of the numerous watchdogs, including the United Nations, who are happy to have accomplished their task shedding crocodile tears. What effects are there of the so-called peace initiatives and the Nobel Prize being doled out to individuals and institutions? What is clearly understandable is that the world, in particular the poor, weak, underdeveloped, and non-developed countries, with its poor, uneducated, and impoverished people, have been split into segments and regions and administered indirectly with the sole purpose of grabbing their wealth and resources. Such shameful, disgracing, and inhuman phenomenon must come to an end. Enough blood has been spilled, notwithstanding the fact the hands of the rich and the powerful individual nations have been stained with the blood of the weak and the poor. We cannot afford to lose any more lifelines. Our way to preventing blood spitting is through unabated movements for peace, which needs to be started afresh. Movements for peace have to be launched from the lowest cadre, with branches springing out and tributaries spread all across various communities and nations across the planet. We need to engage ourselves in intense discussions, making use of all communication medias, organize lectures, arrange public meetings, seminars, publishing wide range of literature to influence and mold public opinion in favor of peace, justice, fair play, and upholding human rights. Let us raise our voice and say no to acts of violence and yes to peace, irrespective of our religions. We all know that human beings are mortal. If this is a temporary world where we inhabit for an unspecified short period, wouldn't it be wise to spend our time striving for peace rather than wasting it in animosity? Wouldn't that be better way to be remembered after we depart from this world for the hereafter? Let us therefore, each of us, make a promise to contribute to peace in whatever way we can from wherever we are. Let us resolve to leave a peaceful world behind for our future generation. I would conclude by remembering again some of the most celebrated and distinguished leaders of the world. Martin Luther King, in one of his orations, had remarked, "Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can." I have therefore decided stick with love, as the burden of hate is too great for me to bear. To quote Gandhi, when the love of power is overruled by the power of love, then only the world can see peace. Let us therefore all try to embrace love to drive out hate in order to achieve peace. Thank you, my respected listeners. All of you may have a blessed day, a blessed time. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.